Welcome to my YouTube channel, and the video is in regards to is Bill Gates a narcissist? A narcissist is a person who may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others. This type of behavior is regarded as a disorder, and I believe Bill Gates fits into this disorder category. I wrote a book about this, and I am going to read it to you. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, hit notifications and like. I need your support to continue doing work like this. Introduction. William Henry Gates III, also known as Bill Gates, was born in 1955 and was a co-founder of Microsoft. He was bullied at school and was a university dropout who became a business magnate, philanthropist and investor. Bill Gates has a questionable past, to say the least. He is the subject of many allegations. This book examines topics that let you decide if Bill Gates is a thief, enjoyed the company of a known sex offender, enjoys the company of bar strippers, makes advances to women, condones questionable behavior in the workplace, is not fit to be a CEO of a company, is a liar, and a lot more. Bill's police mugshot. If you want to see a real police mugshot of Bill Gates, Google this: Bill Gates mugshot. The mugshot shows Gates in police custody in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Evidently, Bill was detained for not having his driver's license on him and spent a night in a prison cell. He did not have enough cash on him to bail himself out. I remember reading years ago that he used to speed in his car. Does this man have any respect for other commuters and loving families that use the roads? Bill was known as a speed demon devil and got lots of speeding tickets. He even wrecked a friend's Porsche. Gates told an interviewer named David Rubenstein that he would sometimes go out at night and drive around at high speeds. "Fortunately, I didn't kill myself doing that," Gates jokes when being interviewed. "Personally, I don't find this a joking matter because he put other people's lives in jeopardy. I believe that Bill suffered from a 'my daddy is a lawyer' mentality, and it appears he has no understanding of actions and consequences in regards to reckless behavior that is life-threatening to others. One of his daughters is a doctor and is in the business of saving lives. In the past, Bill put his life and the lives of others in jeopardy, and at the time he thought it was a joke. The daughter I talk about lives in a $51 million residence, and details regarding this are provided later on in this book. I read that once Bill described religion as an inefficient allocation of time, and as a child his parents were so concerned about him that they consulted a psychologist and he underwent a year of therapy. Paul Allen. Paul Allen was a co-founder of Microsoft and supposedly Bill's best friend. When Paul Allen was first diagnosed with cancer in 1982, he overheard a conversation between Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer. Steve was Bill's right-hand man at the time and eventually became the CEO of Microsoft. Paul Allen heard Bill and Steve talking about how they could force him out of Microsoft and dilute his stake in Microsoft. Paul Allen died in 2018. Paul described what I told you in his 2011 memoir, Antitrust Violations. In 1998, the U.S. Department of Justice charged Microsoft with antitrust violations. The federal judge presiding over the case ordered a Microsoft breakup in 2000. Microsoft was able to appeal this and avoid the split. Not long after this, Bill withdrew from Microsoft, but it is said he was pushed out of Microsoft because of an affair with a Microsoft employee. Basically, Bill was a liability to Microsoft. If he had stayed on as CEO, I believe he would have had to resign. If Bill was the CEO of Microsoft at the time the Jeffrey Epstein story became public knowledge, it would have been a public relations nightmare. It is also said that at a congressional hearing, Bill Gates lectured the congressman in a know-it-all manner. Strip clubs. His wife of 27 years officially divorced Bill in 2021 because of Bill's friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. His wife claims that this was one of her concerns. Jeffrey Epstein was a sex offender and financier. I also read recently that in the early days of Microsoft, Bill used to take employees of Microsoft to strip clubs late at night. It is also said that Bill would go to a Seattle nightclub and pay money for dancers to come to his residence and swim naked with his friends' employees in his swimming pool. What I am telling you is not hearsay and comes from reliable sources. Bill was no choir boy. We were led to believe that Bill was of sound character before all this information started to go viral on the internet. This information went viral around the time of his divorce, and a lot of people who are familiar with these matters have come forward and said it is all true. Bill's business practices ethics are also questionable, and as you investigate Bill Gates' past, you start to understand how messy it is. I don't believe Bill is a good role model for anyone and especially kids, but you need to decide that for yourself. Bill and Melinda French Gates was Bill Gates' wife of 27 years, and before their divorce, she had worries about a harassment claim against Bill's money manager, an affair with an employee, and his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The fact is Bill Gates has questionable conduct in work-related settings. In 2018, Melinda wasn't pleased with her husband's management of an earlier undisclosed sexual harassment claim against his money manager, according to people familiar with the matter. The money manager's name was Michael Larson. The Michael Larson matter was settled privately, and it is said that Melinda wanted a private investigation into this matter. Larson judged female employees on their attractiveness, showed people nude photos of women on the internet, and made sexually inappropriate comments. He made a racist remark to an employee and bullied other people in the workplace. The fact is, as Bill's money manager, he increased Bill's wealth dramatically. Financial payments were made to people who witnessed or knew about Larson's behavior, and those people agreed to never speak about this matter. I am alluding to the fact that Bill Gates was not stern about this matter, and one could say he was supportive of this culture. Bill was not the person that the public thought. The public perceived him as a good guy and a hero of women's rights. On a minimum of 2 occasions, Bill Gates went after women who worked for him at Microsoft Corporation. On top of all this, there is Jeffrey Epstein. Bill got to know him in 2011. This was 3 years after Epstein pleaded guilty in a Florida state court of procuring a child for prostitution and of soliciting a prostitute. He served approximately 13 months in custody. At this point in time, 36 girls, some as young as 14 years old, had been identified, who Epstein had allegedly sexually abused. Bill enjoyed spending time with this sex offender, and evidently Melinda warned him against it, but he took no notice of her. To be honest with you, this whole thing is sickening, and I feel like vomiting. Bill had sex parties in the early days of Microsoft and befriended a known sex offender. In 2019, Melinda reached her limit when the relationship between Gates and Epstein became public knowledge. Melinda made an announcement that their marriage was ending. I don't blame her for divorcing him. The whole thing is disgusting to say the least. Current and previous employees of Microsoft said he liked going out with women in the workplace. It is not clear how much Melinda knew about her husband's behavior. The announcement of their divorce has brought attention to their marriage. Multiple people said that during their marriage, Mr. Gates engaged in work-related behavior that they said was inappropriate for a person at the helm of a major publicly traded company and one of the world's most influential philanthropies. Bill's spokesperson, Ms. Arnold, disputed the characterization of his conduct and the couple's divorce. She basically said that there have been things published regarding Bill's divorce that are not true and absurd. Mr. Gates and Melinda met at work. He was technically her boss. He ran Microsoft, and she began working there in 1987 as a product manager. After their marriage, Bill would on occasion pursue women in the office. For example, he attended a presentation by a female Microsoft employee and immediately after the presentation emailed the woman to ask her out. This information comes from two people who were evidentially familiar with the matter. Following this, Bill was on a trip to New York traveling with a lady who worked for the foundation. It is said that Bill made an unwanted advance to her during the trip that made her uncomfortable. Many former employees of Microsoft, the foundation and the firm that manages the Gates fortune, said that incidents like this created an uncomfortable workplace environment. Bill's actions ran counter to the agenda of female empowerment that Melinda was promoting on a global stage. In meetings, Bill made sure his voice was central and would be indifferent toward Melinda, causing some employees to become upset, according to people who attended foundation meetings with Bill and Melinda. In 2017, Bill and Melinda had to deal with a sexual harassment allegation against a business associate. Mr. Larson was Bill's money manager, earning excellent returns for Bill and Melinda through a firm called Cascade Investment. Cascade owned many assets, and it also put Bill and Melinda's money in other investment vehicles. Raleigh Capital was one of the other investment firms and was in the same building that Cascade Investment occupies in Kirkland, Washington. Raleigh Capital had a financial stake in a nearby bicycle shop. In 2017, it was brought to the attention of Bill and Melinda that Mr. Larson had been harassing the manager of the bike shop. The letter said the woman had tried to deal with the problem and had no success. In the letter, she asked Bill and Melinda for help assistance. If they didn't resolve the situation, the letter said, she might pursue legal action. The woman signed a non-disclosure agreement in 2018 in exchange for a financial payment. Bill thought that this matter was resolved, but Melinda was not satisfied with the conclusion. She engaged the services of a legal firm to conduct an independent review of the woman's accusations and of Cascade's culture. Mr. Larson was put on leave while the inquiry was a going concern, but he was eventually reinstated. It is not known if the inquiry exonerated Mr. Larson from any wrongdoings. Following this, the New York Times published an article regarding Bill's relationship with Mr. Epstein. Evidently, Bill flew on Epstein's private jet and attended a night gathering at his Manhattan residence. His lifestyle is very different and kind of intriguing, although it would not work for me, Bill exclaimed in an email in 2011. Bill is referring to Mr. Epstein. I read somewhere that a spokesperson for Bill said he was referring to the decor of Mr. Epstein's residence. Bill had not told Melinda about some of his meetings with Epstein, and she found about them in the press. She was not happy and engaged divorce lawyers and other advisors who would help the couple divide their assets. Ms. Arnold said Mr. Gates never socialized or attended parties with Mr. Epstein, and she denied that young and attractive females participated at their meetings. According to her, Bill's meetings with Epstein were 100% philanthropy-related. Bill remarked in Mr. Epstein's presence on one occasion that he was unhappy in his marriage, according to people who heard the comments. Bill described his relationship with his wife Melinda as loveless to his golfing friends long before the couple's divorce was publicly announced. Gates also had some excellent lawyers, including Ronald Olson, a partner at the firm Munger, Tulls and Olson LLP, who has represented Mark Zuckerberg. It is public knowledge that Mark Zuckerberg has a history of deceiving people. Apple Incorporated vs. Microsoft. Apple Incorporated sued Microsoft Corporation in 1998 for stealing nearly 200 different parts of its Macintosh operating system to create Windows 2.0. Bill stole the Windows GUI from the Mac GUI. GUI is a graphics-based operating system interface that uses icons, menus and a mouse to manage communications with the system. Bill Gates eventually admitted to the theft when he said that they, Apple, should not have given me the source code if they didn't want me to use it. Bill admits to being a thief in regards to the theft of the GUI from the Macintosh source code. Apple did not win in court back in those days, but in today's world, it would have been easy for Apple to win the lawsuit against Microsoft. Back in the day, the US law was weak in protecting software works, and those types of lawsuits rarely resulted in a win. Nowadays, the opposite is true. To me, the important takeaway from this, regardless of legal outcomes, is that Bill has a history of questionable business ethics and openly admits that he is a thief. DOS. One good thing going for Bill is my research indicates that he did not steal DOS. A lot of people believe he stole the disk operating system in the early days of Microsoft, but as mentioned, it was not likely it was from pure luck and a bit of work that he came into possession of the intellectual property known as DOS. End of story. Inheritance issues. There are many things in Bill's life that raise alarms, and as he moves forward, I believe there are things that will come to light about his past And I don't think he is finished making a fool of himself. For example, one of his daughters moved into a $51 million residence in 2023 that was purchased by a Delaware trust, and Bill goes around saying his kids will get a minuscule portion of his vast wealth. Bill has said in the past that he plans to leave $10 million to each of his kids, Jennifer, Rory, and Phoebe. Am I stupid or am I missing something? COVID-19 anti-vaccine activists and fringe conspiracy theorists have also targeted Bill, saying he seeded the COVID-19 virus for his own purposes. This is a complex issue, and this book will not explore this matter. People are most probably targeting Bill because he has a history of deception, and he did predict that something like this, COVID-19, would happen. This matter needs to be fully investigated at the highest levels. Astrology. Bill was born October 10, 1955. He belongs to the Libra astrological star sign. According to my research, here are some negative things about people who belong to this star sign. Libras are highly ranked to cheat in a relationship. Libras are highly ranked as liars. They may be indecisive. They may be shallow. They may be controlling and exhibit bossy behavior and manipulate people around them. They may be self-indulgent and put themselves first. They may be intolerant. They can emotionally detach themselves. They may get impatient. They may be unreliable. They may be lazy. They can be master manipulators. They find it difficult to say no. They may find it difficult to keep secrets. They tend to lie sometimes. They may have commitment issues. They pity themselves too much. Thank you for reading this short thread, and as mentioned, this book is not exhaustive. The purpose of this book is to inform people that there is more to Bill Gates than meets the eye. Hopefully someone will put in hours of research to get another book up and running that is more in-depth and pursues other questionable things regarding Bill Gates. Currently I am dealing with health issues, and I don't have the energy levels to do more than I have done in this short thread.